them come. This is their fate.
All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay. Here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. We got a very special episode because this is a very special week in gaming. A lot of stuff has happened. A lot of stuff has been announced. A lot of showcases. This is basically the E3 week, technically without E3. So a lot of stuff has been happening. So we got a lot to talk about, and we're going to try to get through a lot of it today. Hopefully it's not super long, but we're going to try to talk about a lot of stuff. But yeah, before we get started, as usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been playing, and how's the day-to-day going for you. Don't hold back, because I don't know.
Yeah, I've been doing all right. Just playing a lot of Street Fighter. I just finished the World Tour mode, and I enjoyed the game a lot. And just now trying to get online, get better, fight against players and ranked stuff like that. Street Fighter, like we said last week, is a really good game, and I'm liking it a lot. Outside of that, I haven't played anything else. I still haven't really touched Zelda in a bit, just because I haven't had time. And like we were saying, I want to dedicate a lot of time to it. I don't want to feel like I'm rushed and things like that. And with all the announcements this week, it's just so many games coming out that I don't actually know how I'm gonna play them all.
Nope.
Yeah, a lot of big RPGs, and I would say a lot of games that have impressed me, where I wasn't previously excited, but now there's a lot that I'm actually looking forward to. Otherwise, it's very hot here in Japan. Just trying to stay cool. That's pretty much it with me. How about you, Jalen?
Jalen, it's been the biggest week in gaming. What you been watching? Tell us about your Xbox showcase watch party. Tell us something. What you been doing?
You've been watching basketball.
Oh my goodness! You talking about that garbage series? Like, no.
Man, what you talking about, man? No, I ain't been doing a whole lot. I just been. I really just been playing Cuphead.
You been playing Cuphead for real?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. I was like, man, I'm finna get Cuphead. I was playing my nephew this over the weekend. I'm looking like, man, I do kind of miss playing this game. I was like, I'm finna go ahead and put this Xbox to use and get a Cuphead. I wasn't finna get on the Steam Deck, so yeah, man, I got Cuphead. That's what I've been playing. Yeah. And yes, y'all know how I be a bosses, man. I was playing last night. I was like, man, I'm gonna beat this boss and go to sleep. Man, he was with me for like an hour, man. I'm looking like, dang. I'm like, man, I can't go to sleep a loser though, man.
Oh my goodness.
I proceeded to waste an hour and didn't go work out no more like I was supposed to because it took me so long to beat the boss.
Right. No idea this guy's actually been on the game. He must be in offline mode. But yeah.
Man. So, but other than that, I mean, I ain't been doing much. We got our Xbox fanboys here. I didn't really pay attention to the Xbox. I seen something they said new Xbox or something like that, but I ain't pay attention to none of that because I mean, Xbox is not a DVR device, but something for me to use to watch Funimation and not necessarily play games on it.
What you mean? You playing Cuphead? What you talking about?
That's what I said. Unless I'm playing Cuphead or Elden Ring at this point now. So,
goodness.
That's about it though. Everything else cool. Still trying to find a car and a little frustrated with that, but that's pretty much it. So
I kind of figured you probably wasn't gonna see nothing, so it's gonna be good to kind of educate you on a little something. Hopefully, something out of this conversation you'll be interested in. But me, I mean, I've been indulging in the medias. I've been doing all the research, just pulling together a bunch of information that was about a bunch of games that I'm interested in, watching all of the freaking extra stuff, all the developer commentary, literally on Twitter, just looking at all the extra dialogue on the sides. So I am a wealth of knowledge in regards to this week right now. I'm trying to find an outlet and trying to funnel it all. But right now, I mean, I did a few YouTube videos and shorts or whatever. But right now, I'm finna kind of unleash all this information. So, like I said, it's going to be a lot of info. I'm probably going to go pretty fast because it's a lot to cover. But I want to kind of get you guys' opinion on stuff, and if you saw anything that you during the week that was interesting, as you said, Josh, stuff that you wasn't interested at first, but now you're a little bit more intrigued in. Definitely want to hear about those highlights for you guys as well, and don't make sure just point them out when I'm going through it because I ain't gonna know and I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep going, but yeah, let me know when we get there. Anywho's, all right, let's start with the big shebang bang. The Xbox showcase kicked off Sunday, and it had quite a few surprises. I'm gonna hold off on judging it until the very end, but we're gonna kind of go through the lineup, and I'll stop and pause if anything is of interest, and I'm going straight from top to bottom. I'm going to give my opinion, and then I'm going to give you guys time, and then we're going to move on. So, Fable was the first introduction to the showcase. So basically, when the showcase went black, came back up, it was Fable. And if you guys haven't seen that, I don't even know what you call it. You can't call it gameplay. It's in-game footage. I'm going to keep saying it because that's what they named it. But it was kind of some trickery. I ain't going to hold you. But at least it tells me some of the assets, some of the things they're going to be trying to pull off, some of the things they're going to be doing. But Fable was by far the most intriguing thing that I saw. Or not the most intriguing. It was the most Sony caliber thing I saw from Microsoft. And I don't want to, downplay everything else that was shown, but this was like that one game where it's like a graphical leap, significant graphical leap, and then there was a lot of intricacies in the details. So from my level, I'm always thinking of Horizon or God of War when I'm thinking about like details, and this felt like this was one of those games where they truly wanted to have a action adventure of the caliber of an Uncharted or something of that nature. So Fable, in my opinion, is being reworked to fit that bill. And I'm so happy for it because I never played any other Fable games and I was never interested in that type of game. But humor is always going to be funny. Dry humor is always going to be funny to me, and things like that where you put into that box where you meet the demands that we're kind of looking for, especially when it comes to graphics. I think gameplay in these types of games, gameplay is like a sidestepped. I agree that, and I still hold that same opinion with God of War and things like that. I don't feel like the gameplay of God of War is the best selling thing out there. I think the story and the graphical capabilities and the animations, the level of detail, that's truly what sells those games. It ain't the gameplay. I understand Fable is supposed to be the more so the gameplay, but I think honestly the story and what you can do in the world, or maybe the details of the world, is probably going to be the most interesting part. And as all they got to do is sell me on the world, and I'm in. Really didn't care about the characters. I'm more so sold on the world and what you're going to be doing in it. And I thought that whole scenario was very interesting. Short, but interesting. Any thoughts on Fable, or did y'all see anything on Fable?
So I was right
Fable,
then. I think I said something about that.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw it?
Nah, I was just gonna say, they was gonna bring Fable back. I think I said that on the last podcast.
Yeah. It's been a while for Fable though, because they haven't had like a main console game in a while, and it looked really good. I liked Fable 2 a lot. Like I think it's actually a really good game as far as like gameplay and just the overall world. Like you said, the world is weird. It's kind of goofy, like the trailer and stuff. Kind of like, I don't want to say Sims, but it's like British humor overall, in which know, if you watch a lot of TV shows like that, you're used to it. But for like a lot of American people, if you don't watch it, it can feel weird, but I like that vibe
Yeah.
overall because it's not too serious. And then other than that, it was in-game footage, so maybe these are cutscenes, but what they showed at least looked very good. And if the game is close to that, then I think I'd be happy with it. Really, all they have to do is make a fun adventure, give you like unique powers, unique weapons, and go out and fight werewolves and stuff. And I think it'd be a fun experience. I don't know if they're gonna go deep on the story, but so far it looks very fun, and that was one of my highlights from the Xbox showcase. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Yeah. And like I said, that was how they started the show. So then we went into South of Midnight. Now, South of Midnight, very much so a different feel, different vibe, but it was also in-game footage. So they wanted to make sure they understood at least that it was in engine. I wouldn't even call it in engine. I know in-game footage can mean a lot of things. That's why it was very vague and weird. But at the end of the day, that's how they wanted to verbalize it. But it is something that is being ran on something in the game. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's in engine. I don't know if it's a cutscene. But from what I could tell is that at least setting up the mood. We're not going to get a vowed situation, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But they're setting up at least the style of it, the setting of it, the characters of it, how it's going to look, how it's animated. That was kind of tells me what that in-game footage tag is. And South of Midnight, honestly, it didn't give us much. But it was just a really cool trailer. Like, honestly, that was one of those things where I was just like immediately transformed to the world. I was like, it was like they put me in there, and it felt as if I was already invested in what the heck was going on, and I didn't know anything of it. But that was how powerful, at least how entertaining that little snippet was from anything out of Xbox's camp. Is just like when they actually showed what they were going to what the game, because you don't even know what the game is. All you know is the concept of it, and the concept of it tells me, at least from what I was seeing, is that you're going to be dealing with a lot of magical, interesting. It had like this very I don't know, it was like Illinois voodoo vibe, and it just felt interesting. And it never hurts to have a black lead. So I'm just really interested in that game overall, that setting, and what they're going to do with it. It seemed like she was a monster hunter or some type of form of a deity hunter, something of that nature. Whatever that is, it definitely intrigued me a lot. And that was the second game. And anything on South of Midnight?
No, not much to say. Overall, it did look very good as far as the overall vibes of the trailer. A creepy, like, bayou type environment, and you're gonna be doing something, hunting monsters or werewolves and stuff like that. They didn't go like we don't, like you said, we don't know what type of game it is, because in the past they made We Happy Few, which was kind of like a survival game.
Yeah.
With collecting resources and stuff like that. So I don't know what it's going to be. So far, it's looking good, and I'd say I'm at least looking forward to it. I like what I saw so far.
Yeah, and just to be clear, these two games did not have a release date or anything like that, so don't expect these anytime soon. Star Wars Outlaws. This actually does have a time frame, a tentative time frame of when it's going to come out, 2024. But when you see Star Wars Outlaws, just think of I want to say GTA in Star Wars Galaxy, which is very much so very interesting to me. I think Ubisoft did a good job of showing this game, the gameplay, the mechanics. It kind of had a mixture of all of their games, which is, it could be a good and bad. I definitely got a lot of Watchdog vibes when she was using the secondary character to kind of move around the world and like turn switches on and turn stuff off. But I never hated the Watchdogs Legions or Watchdogs gameplay. I just didn't care for the setting Star Wars is always going to be amazing to me. I feel like every time I play a Star Wars game, I'm like truly enjoying the atmosphere of it. And what it's doing is that it's putting us in the field or in the boots of a regular person that's just a smuggler. And I don't think we ever had that type of, we never had that type of I guess protagonist. We never had someone that is truly just like it reminds me of Andor, and I was like, oh, I'm here for that for sure. But I mean, he's a little different, but I'm here for that setting, and I'm here for that type of story to be told. I'm a little reserved on my excitement simply because it's coming from Ubisoft, but they haven't had. I wouldn't think they'll fumble this. It's too big. It's too big of a game to fumble. It just doesn't make sense. And from what they shown, I was impressed. So I will give them that. And that was like, again, this is coming out the Xbox showcase, but they did a in-depth gameplay on the Ubisoft Forward showcase. So if you wanted to see both, Xbox unveiled it, another great game to show, and truly people were anticipating. And a good thing about this one that is it is coming around the corner. It is coming out in 2024. We didn't really get a time frame in 2024, but at least it is coming out, or at least has a year behind it versus the other things that we were just talking about that did not. So yeah, that was the first three games. What would you think about Star Wars Outlaws, Josh or Jalen, if you saw anything?
For me, it was one of the surprises because I wasn't looking forward to anything that Ubisoft had to show. Like they already showed their Assassin's Creed a bit, and it looks okay. I don't know if I'm gonna be interested in this one, but as far as this game and their other big IP games, like you said, Ubisoft has a hit or miss track record with certain game genres, like open world games. So, but I was happy to at least be impressed with what they showed. It's basically Watch Dogs in space. Like you have the Watch Dogs combat, you can hack things or sneaking around, stuff like that. But what they show, like the Star Warsness of it, like everything feels feels very good, like very kind of similar to Fallen Order, but Ubisoft's take.
Yeah, just the ability to just jet off and just immediately go into the sky and no loading screen. That just gives me so much of a cozy feeling that they actually know what they're doing and they're trying to stay true to the experience. That just makes me happy because these are big worlds, but for them to feel connected in that way is a really big feat. So that tells me that they actually put some time into it, and they weren't just kidding around. They were really truly trying to make a open world story driven Star Wars, and I'm here for it. I don't want any outpost. I mean, they probably gonna have some, but I don't want that type of scenarios. I want true, fun, adventurous, linear but open type of situation. But when you come with the open world, come with the open world tropes, so you have to deal with that too. But I want huge, large set pieces that truly, make me feel like I'm an outlaw in Star Wars. And you're gonna be, you're gonna have a wanted system. So I just feel like this is gonna be one of those games that if they can pull it off, it's gonna be truly like the next level when it comes to because it's so hard to build a space game in this way, especially when it comes to that GT level cyberpunk, type of game. Like half the stuff in Cyberpunk was broken when it shipped. If they can nail even 68% of that, I think it's going to be a great game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think they can do it. At least I'm feeling good about it because they showed a couple ideas. One, they got Deadeye from Red Dead, so vehicle combat is going to be a lot more manageable and fun. But when it comes to the space thing, they made that space game a couple of years ago on the Switch, which was the I forget the name of it. It's like Starlink. But
Oh, I know what you're
basically,
talking about.
yeah, that game, it had that same system where you can jump in your ship, fly right up into space, and then go out and explore space. And I feel like they nailed it in that game.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, they're good at reusing, you know, content and assets, which is good in this situation. Take what worked from that game, put it into Star Wars, and you have a overall system that works. So as long as they don't mess it up with microtransactions, mess it up with, the story or whatever else, I think so far it's looking really good. It's
Okay.
far away though.
Yeah. 2024. I mean, yeah, it's pretty far. So, but at least we have a date for that one. I mean, not a date, but a time frame. 33 Immortals and Payday 3. Um, I don't I don't play Payday 3s, but a lot of people were happy that this finally was announced. A lot of people said it kind of looked like the second one. 33 Immortals seems interesting. It kind of gives me that Hades vibe, but with multiple multiplayer, which would be interesting. But this was, again, 33 Immortals kind of started to, it changed the pace. I mean, 33 Immortals was still looking a good game, but then when after that, then it came Payday 3, and I was like, okay, the pace is a little off for the showcase. But once we got back to something interesting, and I mean, and I don't want to stop you if you had something for them. Did you want anything to say about 33 Immortals or Payday 3?
No, I don't personally care about Payday and 33 Immortals. It's 33 player multiplayer. It's interesting. I think that team or studio makes interesting stories. So I guess I would jump in and see. And most of these games we've talked about are on Game Pass. So, I'm willing to check it out at least.
Yep. So the next big thing was Persona 3 Reloaded. Unfortunately, it was leaked. But it would have been a big surprise, and I'm gonna keep it that way in my mind, that they have worked with Atlas to remake, or to not, they didn't work with Atlas, but they were able to announce this from Atlas, and Atlas is doing a very good job of allowing Xbox some time to shine, because it's been PlayStation for so long. I guess, I don't know, but they had 3 different Atlas games at this conference, just so you guys are aware. And Persona 3 Reloaded started off, and it's the remake, and I never played Persona 3, so this is going to be a good way for me to kind of join and actually play this one. And again, it's just updating it to the Persona 5's visual quality in Unreal Engine, so it's not like it's going to be super leaps and bounds, but it's definitely going to make it feel refreshed and updated for the current generation. And again, I don't know nothing about the story, so but I'm interested in this for sure. Again, another one of those things where Xbox has I guess they just leveraged their money. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, I'm glad they were able to announce it, have that moment, because in my eyes, this is a big moment for them and Atlas, because again, those games they just coincide with at PlayStation. So just for that to be something that Xbox can now have, it's great in my opinion. Any thoughts on Persona 3, Josh? Is it worth it?
That's your favorite one.
Yeah, it's my favorite one. I was going to ask, is this your time to finally play it, Jalen?
Man, I don't know, man. You know, them
It's
games
on
be
Game
long and
Pass.
stuff like that.
It's on Game Pass. You got Game Pass.
Yeah, but them games be long and it's gonna disappear on Game Pass before I finish it.
Nah,
Well,
I don't think so.
Persona 3 isn't like Persona 5 is 100 hours, but Persona 3 is like 40. So it's manageable. I would say it's at least I'm interested in it, because Persona 3 is my favorite of them, because I think it has the best story. Like, it actually goes into like a lot of detail about where the personas come from and stuff like that. And so it's a fun game. For me, it's kind of a weird remake because they updated the graphics, but I want to see what else they've actually improved about it, because they also re-released the game earlier this year, which with no changes on Xbox, and now the remake is coming, but they haven't actually said what's new, because
I heard that they
Persona
talked
3 is
about
the
it
remake.
becoming from a ground up or something. At least I read something that where,
Yeah, they redid all the art, which is
hmm,
fine. But what I mean specifically is there are a couple different versions of Persona 3, just like Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden. There's
hmm,
Persona 3, there's a re-release called FES, and then there's Persona 3 Portable, and they all have different content, like different characters, different endings, different things like that. And so
hmm.
far, this remake doesn't have that other stuff. So, are they gonna add that stuff later? Are they making new content for this remake or anything like that? Or is this just the original story in higher graphics? Because if that's the case, I don't know if it's worth it to buy. But still, good thing it's on Game Pass, so I can still check it out, and I'll have to make an investment into it. But I want to
Yeah.
see what else new they're gonna add to it.
No, that's good perspective. I didn't know that. I just, figured that they all were the same. Nope. I should have thrown Persona 5 Royal, all the bullcrap that had come out of the Persona. But yeah, I am super interested because, again, I played 4, I played 5. I'm interested in playing 3. And I was ready to play another Persona game. I just didn't feel like playing 5 again.
Hmm.
Yeah, so this definitely was exciting for me for sure. And then we got a little bit of a sidestep. I ain't gonna lie. Avowed. So Avowed was announced previously, and I can't remember when, but it had like a more of a darker tone. It had like a more interesting looking CGI trailer, and then what we got kind of came kind of crashing back down to reality that it's Obsidian, and Obsidian is good for telling a decent story. They were never good at graphically creating something special. So, Avowed doesn't look like a bad game. It just did not meet my expectations, unfortunately, and the only thing I'll say about Avowed, because I was never interested in the first place, is that hopefully it finds an audience for those that want to play a smaller Skyrim, because that is truly what it's going to be. It's just a smaller Skyrim. It's not open world. It's open world-esque. And from what I heard and what I was told, or at least what I saw, is that it is in the Pillars of Eternity's universe, and are trying to they're trying to tell a compelling story, but they're also having a lot of different variations in your builds or whatever you can what you can do. And then they also are, like I said, they're allowing you to kind of explore the world in your own way, but at the end of the day it's still like a linear path to get through the story. So that kind of keeps it straight and narrow, and not so all over the place where you don't even have to finish the game of Skyrim to enjoy it. Just like another game we're going to be talking about here shortly, but you don't have to finish the game. You just really can run around and do a bunch of stuff and get lost in the world. Avowed is going to tell a story, and you can definitely explore and do things, but it's not going to be that large and that expansive. So a tight knit game like this may be interesting to some. It's just not interesting to me. I need something new to be done for me to play it. I don't want to play Skyrim. Never played Skyrim. And I don't think a smaller Skyrim is going to make me feel good. I think Elder Scrolls 6 might make me play the game. And that's simply because of its newness, its graphics. If hopefully they do something well with the graphics, and then possibly telling a story. But at the end of the day, those types of games aren't my main draw. But what did you think about Avowed, Josh?
Yeah, I'm actually a lot more positive on Avowed than you, because I played the Elder Scrolls games and they're fun, but they don't have good like main plots, because there
Mm-hmm.
basically is no main plot. You just go around do side quests all day, and the
Yeah.
side quests are what's actually fun. And with Obsidian, at least, they've always been the slightly better version of Bethesda, where they make the same type of games, but they focus on quality over quantity. And I think that if they can just give a really good fantasy story in this game, I won't mind, because honestly, well, Starfield might be a different case, but I'm not expecting anything different from Elder Scrolls 6 other than we got AI, ChatGPT, NPCs implemented, and the game is huge. And like that's cool to some people, but I don't actually want to walk around talking to random NPCs all day. Like I would rather somebody writes a like really high quality, interesting story and get me into their world. But I mean, yeah, the graphics overall they're leaning more on the stylistic or like more
Cartoony,
cartoonish look than what we originally thought. So yeah, the graphics are a bit let down, but I think the game quality should still be worth checking out.
Well, I mean that like I said, different perspective. Okay, well, let's see. Sea of Thieves, Legend of Monkey Island. I'm not interested, but I actually like Monkey Island, but I haven't played a Monkey Island like 8 years. So I'm not interested in the world of Sea of Thieves, unfortunately. I don't think I ever will be. But I think a lot of people will enjoy this, and it tells me that they actually listening to the audience and bringing things in that's really cool. That tells me the same thing about Fortnite. You know, like I don't care to play it, but I love that they actually keep it updated and people are truly enjoying what they're putting in it. So another one of those things. But what do you think about Sea of Thieves, Legends of Monkey Island?
Yeah, I'm personally not interested in Sea of Thieves, but it's good to see that it's getting, I'd say, high quality content added.
Yeah, for sure.
7 years after release.
Yeah, it's been a while. So yeah, but Monkey Island. Okay, then we got another surprise for me. I thought it was really cool, at least. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 was announced, and I thought the whole jobs thing was really, really cool. Like they updated their engine quite a bit. I thought it was just really cool. So I mean, I'm not gonna play it again. And I think I have to come to the point of, you know, Xbox just is for everybody, and everybody gonna have something to play. And maybe it's not for me, but if the quality of that is good, then I'm not disappointed. So Microsoft Flight Simulator, to me, I don't want to play it, but the quality of it screams that they actually put some time, effort, and truly wanted to make a great flight simulation. And adding in those jobs, adding in that additional fidelity, like really getting close to the ground, and really showing like they truly are putting in that extra work. That's what I thought was really cool. From that, and then they actually add on the Dune expansion and whatnot. So a lot of those things I thought were very, very much so just not something I'm checking out, but it's something that I'm definitely excited that people that enjoy these games are still getting that attention and that level of detail that everybody deserves to have, regardless if you play it or not. So that's cool too. Anything on Flight Simulator? Did you play the first one?
I didn't, because even though it looks very good, my issue is like, what is my goal? Like
there is no goal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So the jobs it's not going to be like any quest or anything like that. Like I don't think, but at least it gives some different type of objectives or something to do if I want to jump into it. So
it gives something to do. Yeah, as you stated. Yeah. Which is good. I mean, you don't want it to not have anything, but I think, what was I watching? I think I was watching Digital Foundry, and I think John Lindemann said it, but he said, or Alex, he said that it would be good to have maybe like when they kind of take this level of gameplay and put like a Forza Horizon type style game on top of it, like they did with Forza Motorsports, And then that's where people would be having fun, maybe speed up the gameplay and things like that. So you're actually having this arcade style, less simulation, but more of a fun game. And that might be the time where it be turned into a full-fledged game that people truly want to play, outside of just simulation. Like, obviously, motorsport is where the simulators go, and then Horizon is where everyone goes to play and enjoy the game. So that was a cool concept too. I would think I would play that if it did do that, because I never played motorsport, but I always play Horizon. So, and then next after that, what we got was Sianu's Saga. Probably the second biggest disappointment, because it literally told us nothing new. And honestly, I was like, they could have kept it, because there was nothing new. There was like a lack of, I truly wanted to know what the gameplay was looking like, because we already know it looks pretty. We already know that it's probably going to be their best looking game on the console when it comes out. What I really want to know is whether or not the gameplay looks fun or not, because that was my biggest gripe with the first one. Is like the gameplay was just weird. It reminded me of Infinity Blade on the iOS, where you had like the swipes, but it wasn't like anything else. So I was like, that was what I wanted to see. I wanted them to truly push the game, and all we got was her talking to herself, unfortunately. And we already know this stuff. It's nothing new for me. Now, that could be my perspective. What were your thoughts on Hellblade 2?
I mean, I partly agree. I think that this was the wrong trailer to show, because it doesn't make sense. Well, because it's a story game. Like the first game had like okay combat, but the reason people like it is because the story and like seeing her journey. But there's no point of showing like a cutscene from the middle of the game with no context. So it doesn't matter what emotions she's going through or the acting, because you don't know why she's in that situation in the first place. So that doesn't help sell the game to new people. For me, I think it looks cool. The art looks good. She's going through some more troubles, and like I enjoy her struggle in the first game, and I think I will enjoy whatever struggle she's going through in this game. But yeah, you want to see the whole package. Like, how big is the game? Like, are you obviously it's gonna be a linear game, but like, what type of stuff are you doing? Are you fighting more bosses? Are you doing more puzzles? Like, what has changed? And I think that wasn't shown. I don't know if they're gonna go if they've shown anything else this weekend, but that on its own, I guess, wasn't enough, because I think Hellblade is really good, and I think this is probably gonna could be the best game that Xbox like owned studios has ever made. Yeah, but you're not like really showing that so far. You know, just little snippets like this every year.
And then all they did was give us more motion cap and the extra deep dive. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? I get it. Yeah. They can act. I really want to know how the story is going to unfold. Or not if how it's going to unfold, but at least set up. Or tell me how she plays into the first saga. Like something interesting, like nothing. And that's what kind of disappointed me. It was just seemed like, okay, what now? What do I just wait another 2 years because there wasn't no date? I mean, it said it's coming in 2024, so I guess I deal with that. But there was just nothing that really truly sold it or said that this is the next thing that's going to be coming from Ninja Theory. It just felt like more of the same. And I think the other previous trailers, when she was fighting that big troll or whatever that thing was more interesting than this, and that was years ago. So it just didn't feel right. It felt like they had a missed opportunity on the big stage. But yeah, okay, we about halfway through. Jalen, anything interesting from you that has anything you heard sounded interesting at all? I know you got Game Pass, so don't tell me you got to pay for it. Anything interesting?
I mean, only thing I was gonna say is potentially Persona, but I don't know if I really want to play that entirely. So I mean, other than that, the other games don't really sound too interesting. Flight simulator, not just flying.
Oh my goodness, that's a tough cookie right there. Tough cookie, guys. All right, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna check back in with Jalen at the end. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. It's like a dragon. I don't know what to say on that. I thought it was funny the whole time, and I think it'd be cool to kind of be if he's in the U.S. because they were speaking English, obviously. I think it'd be interesting to run around and what they depict as the U.S. So I thought that was the most intriguing thing. I never played any Yakuza game. I tried to play one and fell off of it fairly quickly. So this might be one that I'm actually willing to put a little more time in. I thought it was cool.
Why you fall off
trailer. I just played something else. I think Like a Dragon came out around the same time as Guardians, and I actually put like 20 hours in Guardians and never beat it. So I think that's what happened, if I'm not mistaken.
That's supposed to be the more like RPG, like Yakuza game, ain't it?
Yeah, this was the one with it was more RPG, yeah.
Cartoon.
Yeah, turn-based.
Yeah, turn-based. That's
so this one, well, it got the same protagonist, so it should still be turn-based, and there's somewhere in the U.S., like Florida or Hawaii, like someplace with beach.
Beach, yeah.
I liked Like a Dragon. I didn't finish it either because those games are long, and there are a lot of side quests that you want to do. But what I played was really good and funny, and so I think that this could be good too. And I'm happy at least that it's turn-based because I don't like the beat 'em up combat in the other Yakuza games, even though I like the story. That's always been my issue. I didn't like the combat. I like the story. So I'm at least interested. And what I was going to say with the Japanese games is that it's good that Xbox is having better partnerships with these studios.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And knocked out of exclusives like they did with Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, that is 100% true. And we're going to try to talk about that too, but we are already 42 minutes in, so we got to keep it pushing. All right, Path of the Goddess. Capcom weird stuff. I did not care for it. I thought the art style was cool, though. And I was like, looked like Pikmin, kind of, how he was rallying his peoples. But at the same time, it's very creepy. I was not that interested. What you got for that, Josh?
Not much to say about it. The art looks good. It seems to be some sort of multiplayer type game. And as long as it's not expensive or accessible on Game Pass, I'll check it out. But it looked interesting, at least, with like all the weird like demons and stuff coming out the ground and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, Motorsports. Obviously, it's coming out very soon. October 10th. Not very soon, but October 10th, that game will be out. They look like they're making a great sim. And then that's all I got to say on that one. Anything on? Oh, they decided to steal. They snuck another car in there, man. Like, get the cars out the showcase. They just love putting cars in showcase. I don't care about your fancy car you want to debut at the showcase. They done it 3 times now. It's ridiculous. I don't care. But yeah, another car was shown. But outside of that, looks good. It showcases the Series X's power. At least it looked like it was with 4K 60 FPS. When they did a deeper dive and showed off some gameplay of the I think it's career mode of that. So thought it was cool. Anything on Forza?
Their technology is really good, but I'm not into cars, so. Yeah.
Overwatch 2 Invasion. I thought you said they canceled this stuff, Josh.
Well, so let me explain it that they're purposely being confusing about this to try to wash away their earlier promises. If you watch the first Overwatch 2 trailer, they promised 3 things. A story mode, with cutscenes and characters and stuff like that going through the story. And they promised a PvE multiplayer mode, which you can customize your character, you can level up your abilities, you can change them. So now Genji can throw like giant blade waves and stuff like that. And then they promised the free multiplayer. What they canceled is the PvE multiplayer stuff. So they're removing all the customizable abilities, or removing all the skill trees, or removing all the upgrades and stuff like that that you would have in the multiplayer mode. They're still keeping the single player, and obviously we got the free-to-play multiplayer. That's the single player is fine. Like, I'm interested into the story, but there's some news about that today that some people might not like. But anyways, I'll play the single player story, but the missing PvE content is like, we're getting 2/3 of the game that you promised, and for no reason really. Like, y'all making money, you could do it, and you just randomly cancel it like 2 months before it's supposed to release. So that's why people are mad about that. Okay. And the single player, the story, you have to buy the story.
Yeah, it's like $15, right?
Yeah, you buy episodes, so it's not like you spend $60, you get the whole story. You get episode 1, $15. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but they sell in each individual piece of the story, and it also means not all coming out at the same time. Which I don't know if I want to play a story over a year in Overwatch. Like, if you're gonna give me a campaign, give it to me up front and let me play through
it. That's very interesting. It's definitely the battle pass free to play model for sure. I can blame all that on that. If it was a $60 game, we probably wouldn't have this issue. But because they went to the free to play model, they changed their structure, and all this stuff is happening, and that's kind of why I am I'm shying away from free to play games. But at the same time, they're invading all the paid games too, so it's really nothing you can do. But Overwatch 2, at least I thought the story mission was cool. I thought the firing range updates was cool. I thought the hero mastery was cool because it gives me the opportunity to play those and try to my best at, they show you things that you probably didn't even think of what they can do, because these heroes are individuals playing for a very long time and get good with them. So Overwatch 2 Invasion, Jalen. Keep that in your mind. We're going to circle back. Persona 5 Tactica. No. I mean, it's tactical. It's XCOM. And I thought that was cool. And I was like, oh, this is like XCOM type. But at the same time, I never played XCOM. And I still can't finish this Fire Emblem game I'd had for a while. So it's tough. But again, this is another Atlas game that was showing off. Really truly is showing that they are getting a true partnership with Atlas, and they seem like they are done with Sony. It was 3 games here and none over there. But anything on Tactica Persona 5, Josh?
No, I don't care about Persona spinoffs. Like, I know, especially Jalen hate chibi characters, so this game ain't gonna get a big audience like the regular. You
talking about the dance ones, the dance strikers? You gonna do the dance ones?
Oh yeah, no. I'll just play the main releases.
Jesus. What about you, Jalen? You getting Persona 5 Tactica? I know you like the Persona 5. You bought Persona 5. You bought Persona 5 Royal. Now you got Tactica. What you think?
That junk cook, bro. I don't play no Persona spinoff. Play the main game and that's it. Y'all got enough time out of me. Don't ask for nothing else.
I guess so. All right, so there was one game that I thought looked really poorly, or at least showed poorly, was Jusant, and I thought it was gonna be it's a cool concept, but it felt like it was a little undercooked, like Recore. Jusant is that game where you kind of they were like exploring platformer, but they were like jumping around and climbing up a cliff. It's an indie type game, but I thought it was interesting. Still Wakes the Deep, they told us nothing about it, and then Dungeons of Hinterberg. That definitely had like some of the worst animations I've seen in a while. But again, these are all indies, so I'm judging them accordingly. Any of those 3 games that you had any thoughts on or thoughts popped out to you?
Not really. The Still Wakes the Deep is from, I guess, the Chinese room where they make interesting horror games. I'm personally not that interested, but it looks good, so people might like it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Cyberpunk 2077 finally got a release date, and it showed off a little bit of the world and Idris Elba and all that good jazz. Still, definitely one of the highlights of the thing. Keanu Reeves came out doing his Keanu thing, being very weird. But I'm just happy that this exists and this is coming out in September. I can play something very soon that I'm truly going to enjoy, and it's only $30, so I'm excited for it. They said it's a very big expansion. It's going to be doing a lot of changes to the game, a lot to go into on Cyberpunk, and like I said, this is a little long already, so we can make several back, or may have to talk about it next week. But Cyberpunk 2077 looks great, and they actually showed some Xbox Series X footage in performance mode, and that looked great. So yeah, I'm hyped for that for sure. Anything on Cyberpunk, Josh?
Yeah, it looks good. I'm definitely gonna get it. We're not gonna go into all the details today, but they talked a lot about the changes to the overall game that they're adding, vehicle combat, and changing skill trees and adding new skills and stuff like that. So overall, I think it's gonna be a really good time to play Cyberpunk because it's gonna be like a brand new game. I personally been wanting to play through it again, but I might wait until the new overhaul is out and then try out all the new stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was some of the things I was thinking about too. Because I remember I started one, I got like halfway through the game, and then I stopped. But yeah, there was another games, a lot more games, but we're gonna try to. I'm gonna have to wrap it up. But Atlas had another game, Metaphor, big announcement. Basically, their newer game that's coming out. Cities of Skyline 2 was another huge game that people were enjoying, and they liked that game for some reason. Towerborn was the new game, and I don't know the company now, but it's a new game coming from one of the Xbox studios. Clockwork Revolution is the game from In Exile Entertainment, and it looks amazing. We also got a new Xbox Series S with 1 terabyte SSD, and so just to kind of wrap it all up, what I want to say is that this is probably by far the best showcase Xbox has had in a very long time, and I still have to give it a C+B, simply because I know they have so much more to offer than what they showed, but the pacing, the style of it, and the amount of good games that were shown, I still have to give it a higher grade. But honestly, because I know a lot was missing, and again, we didn't even talk about Starfield. Starfield was a whole nother 45 minutes, but that was essentially, again, my opinion, one of the best showings they had in like the last 5-6 years. What are your thoughts on the showing, Josh, and what would you grade it, A through F?
Yeah, I think a C is fair because what they showed was good. It was just really long. They could have made it shorter, and some of the trailers that they showed, especially like the Ubisoft ones, like it would have been nice to get some gameplay in there. It eventually came in the Ubisoft showing, but for Microsoft's like hour, it would have been nice to see a little bit more gameplay. But overall, what they showed, there's very few things that I was disappointed in. So it's good.
Good. Okay. Well, what about you, Jalen? Anything coming from the big X dog that got you excited? I'm assuming no, but we got to ask.
Nah, probably not. I mean, you know me, Xbox DVR device. Not as long.
Well,
ain't nothing like I said, man.
Let's emphasize the fact that Jalen don't play any PlayStation games either. So it's not like it's tough on one side. It's tough on all sides. Jalen don't play no games, but he's on a game podcast and it's fine. But Jalen don't play no games.
Cuphead.
That you play the games that you play, the obscure games that you enjoy. Yes, you do play those, but like I said, it's tough to get you to play a game, right? Would you say that? Would you agree? Or no?
I said it's tough to get me to spend money on a game or get me excited for a game. I say that. So
all right. We'll amend it. It's tough to get Jalen to be excited for a game or slash spend money. But he'll play
you
one.
know that Final Fantasy demo is free, so
Yeah, he ain't played that. I know he didn't.
Wait, what?
Final Fantasy 16 demo just came out.
Yeah,
And
Man, what?
it's like the first hour. Or,
In the-
well, I don't know how long it is, but it's
Segment
the
right
first
there.
part of the game.
it was like 2 hours and something. I played it. We gonna talk about it, but I played it. But like I said, some people don't play games, man. They don't play games. But yeah. All right, let's move on. We took way too long on that. But overall, Xbox deserved that little time because definitely they showed out a little bit. Now, moving on to Ubisoft, and unfortunately, this is going to be very quick. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. That's Far Cry. Far Cry with blue people. X Defiant. I'm still interested in it, but at the end of the day, it's closed beta. I haven't had a chance to play it, but it's not too. It didn't move the needle. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I'm not a 2D fan, and I'm gonna stop right here because maybe that's something that's different for you. I'm not a 2D fan, so I had zero interest, but I do like the character design. I do like the moves. I do like Metroid and stuff like that. Those types of games, like it has some of those aspects to me, so it might pull me in. But again, it's not on Game Pass. I have to spend real money, and I don't know if I'm going to do so to try it. So it's just one of those hard situations there. What did you think about Prince of Persia, X Defiant, or Avatar?
Nothing to say about Avatar or X Defiant. They're not really my games. The Prince of Persia game, they said that it has some Metroidvania inspirations, which is cool. I think the game looks good, but yeah, like you said, it's 2D game, and they're going to be asking for probably a premium price for it. I don't know what they priced it at. As long as they make the overall package seem worth it, I'll be interested in it. But yeah, it's one of those smaller games, but it looks good at least. So
yeah, and I think it's priced at $49.99 if I'm not mistaken. I hope it ain't $60. But then I actually really enjoyed this trailer they snuck a movie, they snuck a show in there, guys, just like Sony did with their Gran Turismo movie. Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix. I thought the animation was really cool. I thought the soundtrack was really cool. It really gave me a lot of those. It gave me cyberpunk vibes, but very much sort of more polished. So I'm really interested in like these type of animated movie situations, and they look like they're going to be utilizing a lot of Ubisoft characters, which I do understand and have played enough Ubisoft games to get the references. So I am going to watch this, and I think I might enjoy it. What did you think about that? If you did see it, it was like the Captain Laserhawk Blood Dragon remix teaser.
Yeah, I mean, it looks okay. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe the tone, but it's kind of more like a Cartoon Network or like a Adult Swim type show.
Yeah. Look like Boondocks animation, really, to me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna check it out if it's good, but I don't watch much TV, so I'm gonna rely on your review first.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely gonna check it out though. Nobody cared about Division, but they wanted to put out their Division thing. Skip that. Skull and Bones, they did a song. Skip that. Roller Champions, Jet Set Radio event. I'm skipping that. Riders Republic skate event. Now you got my attention. So Riders Republic is always a good game to me. It's just those games like you don't have time to play. They're so big and ambitious that it truly just becomes overwhelming to play them. It has so much to do in there, so many things, so many check marks, so many events. And like I said, I'm exhausted from all of the stuff that I got to do in the real world where I want to go into a fake world and do more things. It's exhausting. So some more refined, the BMX one came out, and then now the skateboard. This is super intriguing stuff. Like simply having one game that does everything, that's cool. but they just really need to focus in on truly what they want to do in those segments and not just have it so sporadic. But the Riders Republic is a great concept, and they are really bringing it full circle. And I enjoy that, but again, that's not for everybody. But that was something that was a highlight for me. Anything for that before we move into the other stuff?
Nope.
All right, the Crew Motorfest, False Horizon, I guess. I didn't like the sounds of the cars. They never get the car sounds right. It looked okay, and it looked like they had some interesting things going on, but I'm already a Horizon fan. I have that. I don't really want to give my time to something else, and honestly, I'm just not interested. But I think this is going to be a cool game, and I think that the people are going to enjoy it, especially if they are a Crew fan. But I don't think this is going to reel in nobody new, unfortunately. And it's not going to fall flat because it looks like they actually put some time and effort into it. But at the same time, there's plenty of other games out there that try this concept, or at least adapt that concept, and it doesn't work out. But if anybody going to put money behind something that's failing, is Ubisoft. So the Crew Motorfest. And then we got a bunch of weird Assassin's Creed stuff. Assassin's Creed Nexus, which is the MetaQuest thing. Assassin's Creed codename Jade. This is not the... I know this ain't the one that's based... Okay, good. 'Cause this is... so this is the one that's on iOS and Android. It's a skip. Honestly, Mirage's story trailer was interesting, but... I don't know. I'm kind of over Assassin's Creed, and even if they try to go back to the roots of it, I still can just tell that y'all reused a lot of his assets, and y'all didn't try it enough. So, and that was my first brush. What do you think about Assassin's Creed Mirage, Josh?
So, like I said, when I finished Valhalla, like, I'm out of Assassin's Creed because of the story. Like, I don't care with what they do just because they're doing so much stupid stuff. And the main character in this game, like, he was in Valhalla. Like, I don't know if that's a spoiler. He's in Valhalla, and so what they show in this, like, it's cool, but the problem is, like, you go into the past, you do their little story, and then you come out of the past and go to the real world. The stories in the past are always okay. Like, you're just going around, you're gonna kill a couple people, you're gonna kill the king, and then that's the end of the story. And then you're gonna go back to the real world, and then that's where the real story is. And, like, I personally don't care, so I'm not interested in it. And plus, the gameplay is super simplified. Like, not simplified in a bad way. Like, they're going back to their roots. People want to play as an assassin. But part of the reason they stopped doing that is because it got boring, because they did it 8 times before they switched over to the RPG stuff. So them going back to the simple Assassin's Creed gameplay doesn't really do it for me, because now you're just getting something you played before. Yeah,
they're not innovating, as you stated. But Star Wars Outlaws kind of saved their conference, not gonna lie. It was definitely an F until that popped up. And I knew it was coming. So Star Wars Outlaws came, and it showed a really good showing, and it truly gave us, like, the additional identity of the game. So everything we wanted from gameplay, it was there. It showed the transitions. It showed going from indoors to outdoors to space. It showed conversations. It showed cutscenes. It showed dialogue and choices you can make. It showed the wanted system. It showed a lot of the game and mechanics and how they work. So that really told me that they were confident in the game itself. And I valued that. So again, this is coming out in 2024. So if I'm having to grade Ubisoft Forward, I'm going to have to give it a solid D-, D+. I say D. And I know it sounds harsh, but I can't give it a C, because then I would say that's the same as Xbox, and I don't want to give Xbox a B, so I'm gonna have to give it a D. But it's passable. If you enjoy Ubisoft stuff, you probably would have enjoyed this. I just don't. I'm so over Ubisoft and how they kind of create and build worlds that it's scary how so samey everything feels. That's why you think I'm talking about Avatar as if it's Far Cry, because they gave it a first person view and decided that that was going to be interesting, and I can tell they used animations from Far Cry to span out this, and it just doesn't look good. So it could play well, it could be fun. I'm kind of over their tropes. I want something new from them. Star Wars Outlaws could be new. It could be Watch Dogs in space. But overall, I have to trust that they are going to implement new ideas into a Star Wars Lucasfilm game. They have to. It doesn't make sense for them to be that incompetent. But you will see. I think what they did and what they value in the Star Wars Outlaws is much bigger than what they valued in this Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. This is a shoe-in game, a tie-in. They got paid to make, and they made something. So I don't feel that same way about Outlaws. There's no reason for them to mess that up. But we will see. They both Disney. But we will see. But yeah, moving on from there, and okay, we had an hour and 6. That's good. Moving on, I wanted to kind of give you guys an update on all the games that are coming out between now, well, at least August. I'm gonna go start from August, but really it's gonna start heating up in September. But August is truly and where I'm going to start. So, and I'm only going by big games. I'm not going to talking about all the rest of the junk. But we got Armored Core coming out. This is the Armored Core from Software, right? Fires of Rubicon, August 25th. We have Baldur's Gate 3. That's coming August 31st. We have Starfield coming September 6th. We have the Crew Motorfest for the people that's a fan of those racing games, September 14th. We have Lies of P coming September 19th. We have Mortal Kombat 1 coming September 19th. We have October. We have Forza coming out October 10th. Assassin's Creed Mirage coming out October 12th. Lords of the Fallen, which I don't know, it showed a little bit better than I thought, October 13th. Alan Wake 2, October 17th. We have Marvel Spider-Man 2, October 20th. Jesus, October is crazy. November, we have not so much, nothing really. And in December, we have Avatar. So there's still a little bit out for debate on what's coming out, but for honestly, September and October are really stacked, as in game releases. And we've really had a lot of good games already. Quite a bit. And I didn't think we was going to get that many good games this year, but as I look back, we've gotten a lot. So, how we feel about this year in gaming? I mean, for me, I truly feel overwhelmed that I don't have enough time to play the games I want to play. Like, we had Odyssey, we had Resident Evil 4, we had Dead Space, we had Jedi Survivor, we had Zelda, we've had so many. Need for Speed Unbound, even though that came out in December, didn't heat up till January. It's just so many games that have come out that it's just like, geez, I ain't got the time. And then there's more coming. It's not like, Diablo 4 is a game that I would truly buy right now, but I don't have the time because there's just no time to play that type of game right now. But I would buy it because I know that game is some quality game. Street Fighter, like Mortal Kombat, geez, this is a stacked year for gaming. How we feeling?
We've entered that time of the generation where developers are actually putting out the games that they've been working out for a while, because you know, whenever it's a new generation, the new games take a long time to make, and they're not going to be ready for the first 2-3 years.
Yeah.
This generation wasn't as bad because there were kind of a lot of cross-gen games that they held on to, so they released around the same time as the new consoles. But the second year, is this the third year? Right, this is the third year of the PS5.
Third year. It came out in 2020,
yeah.
So yeah, third year would be in November.
The second year was pretty light. I feel like last year there wasn't a lot going on, but this year, everybody's everything's coming out of the oven and it's ready to go. So.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. There were some talks about developmental cycles being longer, and because of all the stuff that's happening with like the type of like the ray tracing and the fidelity that people are requesting, and time frames just being longer and longer. I feel like that is true, and to a large degree, because I don't think we're gonna have another year like this for a while. This is gonna be a year that's gonna be truly remembered for a lot of good games and a lot of stuff that's gonna be championed during the game of the year. Game awards. But I don't see that happening again. I mean, it's just too much. You know, talking about Dead Island 2, games that have been in the works for 10 years, games that's been working for 20 years. Starfield, we haven't even talked about that yet. And honestly, but yeah, it's just so many good games, and I kind of want to go into that next, but just so many freaking games, dude. And I guess I'm getting overwhelmed about the amount of stuff that I'm trying to play, because it's just too much. And I don't think my wallet nor my time schedule is prepared for the amount of games that's coming out. Final Fantasy 16, right around the corner, and it's just crazy. It is freaking insane, dude. Yeah. So be prepared for that. That is going to be a very interesting end of the year. And like I said, I was able to wait for Dead Space. I just got it for $27. Jalen didn't want me to do that, but I had to. It was very much so $74. It was $74, and I was $27. I said, "Shit." I said, I got to have it. But yeah, I didn't even realize Pikmin 4 was coming out this year, man. Don't forget that banger Exo Primal. Jesus Christ, they kept showing that game every 5 seconds. That game is booty butt cheeks. I don't even care if it's coming to Game Pass. That game just looks atrocious, and it might be fun, but no, not for me. But yeah, it's gonna be a packed year, very much so. Then we're just getting started for real. So, hide your wallets, get some time.
Been playing the games and stuff like that, but it seemed like there's been a lot of good games and stuff coming out. I'd be overwhelmed thinking about all the games y'all be talking about and stuff like that in the group chat. I'm like, I mean, ain't y'all finna buy another game? I thought y'all just playing this game, or y'all talking about this game, or
he's still trying to play Elden Ring. He's still 2 years ago.
I'm still on Elden Ring.
Ain't the Elden Ring DLC coming out this year?
Yeah, I think so. Hey man, we got it's some stuff. I ain't gonna lie, it's some stuff, and it's overwhelming. But you know, we get through it. We've already skipped quite a bit. Like, I'm waiting on Dead Island 2 to get to 27 or at least 25, and then I'll pay for it. But there's plenty of games I've skipped that I want to play really badly, and I just haven't, because I just don't have the time, nor it would just be worthless. Like, it's just crazy. Anyways, but let's move on to the biggest game that was shown. Probably the biggest game ever made. After I watched that, I was like, what the heck did I just watch? Did I just watch the coming of Todd Howard, the essence of what that man truly can do? Did I just watch that? that game is I'm talking Starfield, people. So this is the Starfield portion of the podcast. But man, I just like, is this game going to end? I just felt like 40 minutes wasn't even enough for them. I feel like they had plenty more to show, which is crazy to me to think about one game dealing with 45 minutes and still having more to show. But I feel more confident that it's, and we're gonna talk about the big controversy around it too. But I feel way more confident than I ever was in a Bethesda game. I feel like they have been put to the fire to make a great game, and they have more riding on this than anybody. And what I can tell from them and what they've shown is that they are truly excited to simply unleash it on the world. They don't really care for it to even sell well. They just want this massive game, this RPG, this open world sim of space to be out there in the wild. And when I thought about it, and I was like, well, dang, I've never played a game that expansive from anybody else that where the story don't matter. I mean, it's going to be a story there, but I just got lost in the things I could do with from out of it. Like, I didn't care about the story at that point. I said, I'm going to be the biggest pirate. I'm going to steal everybody's ship, and I'm going to go make a base, this big gargantuan base on this planet that nobody else can ever get to. And that's where I wanted to talk about multiplayer, but maybe this is just a single player focus, make this large, huge thing and just deck it out and then create the biggest monstrosity of a ship I ever made. And I can do it all and just chill in the world and go explore and not ever deal with anything they want me to do. And that would probably take me about 200 or so hours because there's 1,000 planets. And there's like handcrafted things that they want to implant on these places that tell stories. And I was like, that right there is enough to me. But on top of that, you have a standard RPG that gives you dialogue, that gives you choices. I'm not sure how expansive the choices could be. With 1,000 planets, I think you can do a lot. But they have literally showcased that these planets have different themes, different situations, different vibes. And I said, I thought to myself, I was like, well, what have I ever played that could match it? And I couldn't think of one thing. And I was like, what? I said, well, and then I started to like try to dismiss it anyway. I started going to like, but it's Todd Howard. Like, this guy can't be trusted. He does stuff and he messes it up constantly. But I said, well, he does got Microsoft on his side. And they did force him to wait. He did try to put out a buggy mess in 2022. And they said no. And they said, you need more time. And he said that. And they admitted that. And then when Matt Booty came on and Phil, they were talking about it. And he was like, yeah, this is probably going to be like the most polished Bethesda game that ever came out. It just gave me a little more confidence that they are ready to show this game to that extent that the game don't really got that many problems. And if it is, it's minor. It's not to the point
they
where
got all hands on deck on bug testing. Like
Oh,
they taking
I
people
really do believe that.
off Windows and other projects to work on Starfield.
Yes, I really truly believe it's an all hands on deck because this is the most important game that they ever going to put out. And it showed as soon as I saw how expansive and bold the whole game was. I was like, how do y'all even create that? How did you even make that work together? How does that work? How do you have, and then when people were breaking it down, they were like, and I was looking at it and I was thinking like, okay, so you can just, when he was talking about how you can interact with everything in the world, I was like, huh? How do y'all build games like that? Where it's
well,
not.
Usually they do it and don't worry about bugs. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's my concern. I said, well, how do y'all? And that's where I was talking about. He was telling a story about one of the things that he did in there and how somebody landed and he was wanted, and somebody landed and he was fighting this enemy ship and they had like a sandstorm or whatever, and then he got on the ship to kill everything off, and then it just took off into the space. And I'm like, what? So you already prearranged for the thing to kind of go in. So everything it felt like it got a mind of its own. So, and I don't think I ever played a game like that. Or maybe I have played a Bethesda game like that, and that's why Skyrim's so beloved, because honestly, I can't get into them games. Honestly, I just feel like they don't have what I'm looking for, or at least I got into it too late, because right now I can find those experiences in better places. I don't think I'm gonna find Starfield in a better place yet, not right now. And then I know they keep comparing No Man's Sky, but it's just not the same at all.
Yeah, No Man's Sky did a lot of similar ideas, and they added a lot to it over the last few years, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But when I played it, it felt shallow. Like the world is big, but there's nothing there.
Yeah,
and they're all the same. That could still be a problem with Starfield, but at least Bethesda has the history of having making RPGs that have good RPG systems and a bunch of different NPCs and quest lines.
I just can't wait to get somebody to tell me to go to a different planet and just do stuff. Like I just feel like that's what I'm going to be experiencing. I'm going to be experiencing this bountiful, or this very magical experience of intergalactic travel, for missions and things like that that truly will define this generation for a minute, because ain't nobody else gonna be able to do it.
Have time to actually enjoy it, because these games you have to play them like Zelda, where you just run around and exploring everything.
I know.
Because if you just follow the main story, you're gonna get bored, or if you wander around lost and not feel like you're not doing it right, you're not gonna finish. That's my problem with Skyrim. I probably played Skyrim for 20 hours and I don't remember anything about the main story. The only stuff I remember is I found a house and they were having a party, and then it turned out that party was full of vampires, and it was an interesting story that I just wandered into. But if you don't wander into the right place, you're just gonna be bored.
No, I agree. That's where, and that's where I was like, I'm so fascinated with space and in general, that if you can create a sim for me to run around in and just have experiences in, I don't know what I don't know what I want to experience, because I don't know what to create from that. I just know that space is something I want to be in. I want to be in that space and just hang out and chill and do stupid stuff, or whatever the case may be. They had, ID software come in and help them with their gunplay, and help them with the motion blur and things like that, to assist with making that better. That just, like I said, it just tells me that this isn't just Bethesda's effort. And same thing with Final Fantasy 16. After they talked about how ambitious it was, they talking about how they had the Kingdom Hearts people come in, they had Platinum come in and help with the combat. They didn't just do this on their own. And that what makes sense for me for Starfield, because it's just so big and expanded and broad that there's truly like, this is one of those once in a generation type games, and I would say the first Zelda, like this, the second Zelda is truly revolutionary because of what it built upon on the first one, but the first one is the foundation. So I always consider that one to still be the that revolutionary type of game that just define physics for me in games now, of like, why can't I do this? You know, like when you start to question other games where you can just literally only interact with certain things, like, well, Zelda lets me interact with everything. Why can't I interact with everything in this game? Because they just push a fidelity and they don't really want you. They want you to run down a path. So I feel like Zelda was that in 2017, and now I think like Starfield is going to be that for this generation of these current gen games, and defining like what we truly want from a game or like an RPG. But man, this is not like a 10-year game to me. This feels like such a long and expansive game that it can last for a very long time. But I mean, obviously graphically and things like that may be might be sidestepped pretty soon and early and often. But I mean, people are still playing Skyrim. This is coming to PC. This is not just an Xbox exclusive. There's going to be mod support. This is going to be something that you could play between Game Pass on the Xbox and the Game Pass on there. I mean, you can buy it on Steam, and that's probably where everybody's going to purchase it. But, you know, there's just those options of being able to, if I want to, in which we can talk about now, is the 30 FPS lock on console. I get it, man. I honestly do. I really didn't. I really was like upset for a little bit, but it literally took like me rewatching it in 4K to truly get why it's at 30 FPS. I get it. This is a huge world. I get it. I'm not saying that it's acceptable, but I definitely get it. I don't get the, like, if it was a game of the scope of a Horizon Forbidden West or a God of War, no, I absolutely don't get why you can't get it to be 1440p 60. But it's just not that. It's like so many things happening under the engine to me, at least what I'm thinking about, and how it's shaping up and what is being shown to me. I really sound like I drank the Kool-Aid, I hope. but from what I can see is that this game is truly doing something different. In order for that to happen, they had to make a choice. And from what they were explaining, the choice was, fidelity or whatever over everything else, to have a consistent type of look. And that's fine. At the end of the day, I guess I have to accept that, or buy a PC that's strong enough to run it. And I think my PC can run it at 60, but I think I'm gonna stick with the console for now, because I just know it's gonna work. And if I want to truly jump into the 60 FPS of that, I will do so. And if it's like a super beneficial, I will do it. But honestly, I'm not going to Starfield for the combat. I'm going there for the storytelling, the exploration, the things that might occur on the day-to-day, or when I'm just running around roaming, and really truly getting to see. The one thing I did not see is spacewalking. I really want to see that. I ain't seen none of that. So I was like, I really hope they have some opportunities for me to spacewalk. And they have gravity, mechanics and levels of gravity on different planets and all this good jazz. And it's like all baked in. So I'm like, you gotta have to be able to spacewalk. You gotta be able to get out and just jump around for a little bit. That has to be there. It just makes sense to me. But yeah. From what I saw, from what I saw and what they said, I am totally sold on this game, and I'm glad it's coming to Game Pass because I got to pay for it. But Yeah, I'm totally sold on it now. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I honestly was. This was a super skippable for me, but because of the amount of depth they went into, and they truly showed the uniqueness of a world of Bethesda. Because honestly, I did not get it. I was like, what is so special about Bethesda making a space game if it's just Fallout in space? And maybe I never understood what Fallout was, because honestly, I played it very linear. I played it for the story, and I never explored as much as I wanted to. I did have a lot of fun just going and creating my home in that game, but outside of that, I went down like a few different side quest branches, but not much deviation. And I think that's probably where I was lost. But there were so many things that I gravitated towards because it's the space elements, because of the stuff that they showed. This is an easy game for me to recommend to people that are interested in something special, because that's what I think it's going to be. As long as it don't launch in a crappy state, they already showed me enough to show that this game is going to be something special. But if it's a crappy state, it's a crappy state. But I think they got too much ride on it to let that happen. Now, I know I spoke a lot. So I'm going to let you guys talk. Hopefully, Jalen, you soaked up something. And maybe what is your perspective from someone that don't truly play games? I'm going to keep saying it. What's your perspective on Bethesda? I know you don't like them, but we can I guess we can go from go there and kind of talk about that for a little bit. But yeah, you guys had the floor. I talked enough. Starfield.
Yeah, you said a lot, and I agree with everything. I don't have too much to add to it. Starfield, I was impressed by what they showed in the showcase. Even though it was really long, they went very deep into like all of the things that they've been working on, and that's honestly what sold me on the game. So good on them for actually putting that out there. I'm just glad. I mean, it still looks like a Fallout game, like overall structure.
Yeah.
But seeing them put this into space and adding, since they can't like just reuse their old stuff, kind of they got to come up with new content, new ideas, new systems. And I think that's the most exciting part, to actually see them push themselves instead of just recycling similar things.
Yeah, reusing. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, for me, I just want to fly to a different planet, land, explore, find out what quests are going on there, and find like the weird alien artifacts that they have going on. And I think that as long as they can deliver that and keep giving me that exciting experience as I keep exploring, it'll be a worthwhile experience. Yeah.
Yep, for sure. All right.
What about you, Jalen? You about to pick up Skyrim in space?
Skyrim in space.
Space Rim. Nah, I don't know. I mean, I had to like check it out and stuff like that. The biggest thing I like about Bethesda was their games, and they just like seem like clunky games and stuff like that. So, and it's not all Bethesda games, but I remember Skyrim being like that. I mean, Dishonored. So, I mean, it's just
Yeah, they never
I'd be
focused on
willing to give
like
it a try.
quality. And that
Yeah, no, they didn't. And that was my biggest thing. As soon as I saw that they was 30 FPS, I was like, well, it better have God of War polish. But then I realized it's Bethesda, so I was like, that's too much of a high standard for them. So then I was like, as long as the game is in a playable state and it doesn't have any game-breaking bugs, I'm comfortable with trying it out. I need a stable frame rate, of course, and I think them hitting a target of 30 FPS is going to be fine for this game. And I'd be more concerned if they were trying to go for 60, to be honest. But because they're not, that means that they had the overhead and they had it running, and now they all they had to think about is truly polishing the game to make every mechanic really sing. And it probably won't, because it's Bethesda, but I like I said, I don't want to give them a pass. I just know a good game when I see one, and I know the amount of detail that it takes to make this type of game, it kind of doesn't come that often. So I just want to appreciate that for the time being. But they can't get this slander easily if it comes out in a terrible state. It's just more so appreciating when a dev delivers on their vision in the right way, where they don't compromise. And I don't see any compromises here. I just see a long developmental cycle where they put a lot of stuff into this, and they tried hard, and they came out on the other side of it. So that's my focus point right now. But I don't want to excuse Bethesda, because they're inexcusable right now. You know what happened with Redfall. And I think that's what everybody was working on Starfield. That's why Redfall happened. They had to sacrifice somebody, and it just happened to be Redfall. But yeah, I think this is going to be a generational leap in advancement. I think it's just going to be a cool effort. And I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to say too much. But yeah, okay. I think we got through a lot of what I wanted to talk about. Final Fantasy 16 demo is probably the last thing we want to end on. So yeah, I played it because I'm a real gamer and I actually keep up with the times and. Just playing. But Final Fantasy 16 demo came out 2 days ago, and that was all Square Enix did a thing, but it was really just the Final Fantasy Direct, the pre-launch thing, and they kind of talked about and went through. That's how I got that information about who they brought in for development, like the Kingdom Hearts guy, director, and the individual from Platinum Games, the director there. They brought those people in to assist with the finalization of the game. And let me just say, that OST is a bussin'. That's all I can say. I was like, man, what is this game that I'm playing? It was smooth. Wait, well, let me take that back. The gameplay is not that smooth. It's a little jank, but what I can tell you is that the loading times, the experience, the visuals on display, the bombastic combat, it's truly just Devil May Cry, but on like the biggest budget in the world. It feel like they had endless budget. The music, man. I have never been so pumped to watch a cutscene or get into a fight, but this music is dummy. But y'all already knew that. Y'all love that them OSTs. But
they be having some heat, man. Big heat.
They do have some heat. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't trying to rub it in Josh's face because he ain't got a PS5 and I don't think he's gonna get one for this. But it is a good game. I mean, I can say that. It feels like a good game. It feels like they put the effort in. I haven't finished. I mean, obviously, I haven't. It's only 2 hours. I only played 1:30. But from what I can tell, they're very confident in that that cocaina. That's what it is. They very confident in the product. So that I can feel that throughout the entire presentation, throughout the entire thing. They're very confident that they have a great game on their hands. And the biggest drawback that I can say is that their performance mode, and maybe I have to restart it, but dude, does it do a bad. It's like 1080p, 1440p upscaled at 60 FPS, but you can barely tell your guy's textures on his body. And I think, like I said, I think it was a bug because I've never seen something that bad from them. But I left it in a 30 FPS mode, and that's a 1440p reconstructed to 4K, and it looks great. But yeah, I was trying to go to 60 FPS to see the differences and like things like that, but that was a no-go. The whole person looked muddy, so never seen that before. So I think it was a bug, truly. But other people were saying that was just how it looked when I looked it up online. But hopefully it's just a bug and they can do some little optimization, because not that I want to play that game at 60, but it is an action-packed game now, so there's timing and things like that, and I was like, maybe I should play it at 60. So I still want that option to be a decent option, because it is an action-packed game. It's not an RPG. I mean, it's not a turn-based game. It's very fast-paced, very action-heavy, and yeah, it's just some really dope moments already in the first little couple of hours, man. So I already know I know it's gonna get bigger and crazier from here, but it's dope.
Looks like I'm finna pre-order a game, man.
You might pre-order a game for finally. You know, you might finally pre-order it, but that I ain't gonna pre-order it anyway. I never pre-order anything now, but. It definitely is. It's definitely one of those games that's gonna make you upset that you can't play it if you know on a different console. For real, and that's where it comes down to the console war stuff. I'm like, that's pretty stupid to waste time worrying about, staying loyal to a company, or not playing good games because you don't have. And I understand not having versus just objectively just saying I don't want because I don't want to purchase it. And it makes sense when you don't really have that many games that you want to play on it and it's like one purchase for one thing. But I always buy both because I know both of them going to provide a experience that I'm probably going to be interested in. So but Final Fantasy 16, they did their thing, at least in a demo, and it carries over. And if you beat the demo, you unlock a special battle in the menu. So once you beat it, you can load it back up, and it should be like a special battle you can play to play that as well. So, but yeah, overall, guys, it has been an amazing week for gaming. I'm talking great. I'm talking extravagant. I'm talking useful. I'm talking all the great information that came out this week. I just wish it was an E3, honestly. I kind of miss it now because I wanted to go to one, and E3 kind of helped. You had the offhand camera gameplay or the demos and things like that people could get some hands on, and it kind of held the developers to a certain higher degree. Like if you're gonna show something, you got to show it on the floor too, so people can try it. A lot of people are getting away with this in-game footage, and like I said, I gave praise to Microsoft for having a good showing. Like I said, I had to keep it at a C- and C+, C+ because of the trickery there, and they just have plenty more to show. They should have shown more, but we'll see what happened next year. I think Microsoft stating that they wanted to put out 4 first-party games a year, I think they can really do that. They have enough talent. They have enough publishing that they could possibly do it, even if they're small scale. But I'm not saying 4 AAAs. I'm talking 4 first party games from them. They could probably do 1 AAA, 3 AA's, like Hi-Fi Rush or something like that. Because they already did it with this one. They did Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, Starfield, and then Motorsport. So they got the cadence. It's just now what they're going to be putting out next year. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it. Anything else y'all want to add or say before we get up out of here?
Download that demo right
Download that demo. But no, I'm looking forward to 16. Everything else all looks good. I'm gonna probably maybe pick up a PS5 soon. But yeah, I love 14, and I'm glad y'all can finally see the good stuff about it. The music is good. It's the same writers, same team overall. So them having infinite budget is gonna allow them to shine.
Yeah. Infinite budget for real. Okay. Well, all right then. I want to thank you guys for listening. As always, this was a little longer than I expected, about 15 minutes longer. But I want to thank you guys for listening and getting through it. We're going to be back here again next week with more content. If you got to this part, you're the real OG. There's some more stuff that we actually didn't cover, like the Xbox Series S. We didn't cover Raymond coming into the Mario Rapids. There's stuff. Lies of P I want to talk about because I just think that's a dope game. But we're going to talk about that type of stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening. And we will be back next week. Stay safe. Peace.